as a woman in leadership, and perhaps someone said something to you that crossed the boundary. What did you do? In this video, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about how you can set boundaries under pressure. I know that a lot of people struggle with this, and I want to make sure that as you are stepping into 2026 as a leader, that you are feeling pretty comfortable about setting boundaries under pressure. In this video, I'm going to talk about what to do when you're under pressure. And I have several videos here on my live tab that talk about managing your emotions under pressure and what you should say when you're under pressure and etc. But today we're going to talk about when you need to set those boundaries and give you some insight in terms of what you can do. Now, this is a live video, and typically there is a point in time on YouTube where the audience will join the conversation. Give me just a few moments so I can say hello to everyone and welcome them to the live today. This will be a shorter live. We had a very, very long live yesterday, a special edition live for this week because there's several days where I will not be filming this week because it is Christmas. So I am really looking forward to engaging with you all today. So we have Pratik Galatkar 1011. Welcome, Pratik. How are you doing today, friend? Pratik says, hello, how are you doing today? Pratik, I'm doing fantastically well and doing even better that you're present on the live today. I appreciate you being here. And let me know if you have any questions specifically as it relates to setting boundaries under pressure. We're talking about a bit more challenging situation today. I'll be live probably for the next 10 minutes, and more than likely this evening I'll go into a bit more detail on this topic specifically. Peter Brucky, welcome back, Peter. How are you doing today? Good morning, Peter. Good to see you again. Well, let me know what questions you all have about setting boundaries, and I want to talk to you briefly about how you set boundaries when you're under pressure. So for instance, specifically when you find yourself in a situation as a leader, and under pressure can be in many different scenarios. Either you are going to be in a one-on-one setting talking to someone, or you're going to be in a group setting talking to someone. And it really just depends on what setting you're in terms of what you need to say. So for example, under pressure for me would be if you're speaking with someone and you have already set a boundary with them, but for some reason they choose to ignore it. That brings the conversation to more of a challenging or a difficult conversation compared to you speaking to someone and saying, these are the boundaries I have, or I have some limitations here, and this is why I would like to have happen. I'm referring to those times when someone is repetitively crossing your boundaries. That is what makes it under pressure. So how do you handle yourself in those specific type of situations when you're under pressure? I'll give you a couple of strategies that will help you as you are in those type of situations to think about so that you can respond accordingly. Well, first of all, the first strategy I would say is that you have to acknowledge that this is about to be a pressure situation. Many times when we're in conversations as leaders and etc., this is something that people, they don't pick up on it immediately. Does that make sense? And when you don't pick up on immediately that this is a challenging situation or this is about to go in a direction I don't want it to go, we are caught like completely off guard, and we don't really know what to say, how to say, and that's how we sometimes will fumble and stumble in terms of what we're saying because we didn't recognize from the beginning that this is about to be a pressure situation. Now, I want to see what's going on in the chat. We have Vibes Bible verse. I believe that's what that says. I'm driving, friend, so I apologize about that. Vibes says, hello, are you Christian? Yes. Pratik Galatkar 1011 says yesterday's live was an eye-opener and reality check for many of my questions. Well, Pratik, I appreciate you, friend. High five from here, from the States. I appreciate you for joining the live yesterday. You had some really fantastic insights that you shared, and your insights are very, very on target and on point with what I talk about in my audience. So if you have any questions, you let me know, and I'm here to help you any way that I can, Pratik. I really appreciate you being here and being a part of the channel. Now, as I mentioned, people struggle with setting boundaries under pressure because they don't acknowledge that we're about to go into a pressure situation. So what do you think makes a pressure situation? Let me know in the comments below, when have you found yourself in a situation where you could pick up and say, this is going in the wrong direction? Let me know in the comments below. I'll give you some insights in terms of strategies or things you want to look out for to determine, okay, this is about to go into a pressure type of conversation. I want to say hello, Maninder Singhan Kut, I believe. Hello, how you doing today? So a couple of things that may happen to you, specifically when you feel like you're about to go into a pressure situation, are the following. You may notice someone start to elevate their voice. Number one, that means that person can't control their emotions. So you're dealing with a volatile, potentially volatile situation. Number two, you may see the person do some things with their body gestures that seem a bit odd. They may scratch their hair, they may cross their arms, they may fidget with their fingers, they may make a different type of look. You know, they may scowl a little bit like they just don't understand. Or they may speak a bit faster than they normally would. And these are situations or scenarios or flags, I would say, that you need to be very careful of if someone is crossing a boundary with you and you can tell that this conversation is about to become pressured. Now, before I go into a bit more strategies here, let me say hello to everyone in the chat. Petite Galactic 1011 says, I totally appreciate help from your end to make our lives easier. Absolutely, Petite. I want you all to learn from my mistakes, learn from the challenging situations that I have been in to help position you to be that person that can handle it. There's many people in the world today, and we're all humans, and we all have our pros and cons and strengths and weaknesses. However, being able to communicate under pressure is something that people just genuinely struggle with. And if you subscribe to my channel or follow my content on Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook, I will show you how to do this. There's a strategy to this. It doesn't have to be a scenario where you're just born with communicating under pressure and you just wake up one day and you just can just be able to handle any hard situation. No, this is a strategy I have been developing, skills I have been developing for over 20 years. And it's not something that I would say, if you're in a higher executive level role or if you're in a manager role, that you just pick up instantly. It's not. It's a matter of being in, I would say, close proximity or having conversations with people or individuals that have been in those situations. There's a lot of information on YouTube that talks about communicating, etc. But there's a certain way you communicate under pressure that you still can be very professional. You don't have to be that person that is just, that just completely just goes off and just comes across as being a very highly emotional, ridiculous acting person. You don't want to necessarily do that. And if you've done that before, that's okay. That's why you subscribe to the channel, and that's why I'm here to help you any way that I can. So if you're new to me and you're watching any of my lives or any of my content here on YouTube, feel free to just send me a message. If you find something in the videos that really resonates with you and you think to yourself, I wonder what I would do in this situation, then let me know. I deal with the hard situations. That's just my expertise. I'm very comfortable dealing with that. So no situation you have is going to be that challenging for me in a professional setting. I probably have seen it or dealt with something similar to it before. Just let me know. I'm here to help you in a way that I can. All right, so let me see what's going on in the chat. We have Mazadi, I believe that's what your name is. I'm sorry, I'm driving and I'm trying to be extra careful because my vehicle's wrapped now. So I'm trying to be real extra careful of not driving too odd. Hello, welcome. We have Harsh Pathania, I believe. Hello. Johnny Blue Eyes says you are a beautiful person. Well, thank you, Johnny Blue Eyes. I appreciate that. Welcome to the channel. And we have, let's see, Aziola says hello. Welcome. Hope you're doing well today. All right, let me see what else we have. Pratik Kalatkar. All right, so give me just 1 second. Let me get into this other lane here. All right, so Pratik Kalatkar says, yes, this has happened while initially when I started working there was a group office who targets new employees. Oh no. And totally frustrates a new employee. There's people like that, Pratik. There really are. And I know sometimes we don't really talk about it in our workplace settings, but believe it or not, there are people, and I don't know why these people are the way they are. They will give new employees a hard time. It's like it's their mission to do it. I don't know why they do it, but they do it. It's like, it's ridiculous. But if you present yourself as that person that has that very very strong executive presence and is not having that in the beginning, sometimes those people will tend to back off. And we have Cameron 2K says, your hair and glasses are beautiful. Love your style. Drive safe. Well, thank you, Cameron. I appreciate that. We have 9XX Zoe X9. Jesus love you. Thank you, friend. We have Cherish 4440. Good day, blessings, and shalom to you. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. We have Legasil, I believe. Hello. And we have D's. Okay, so yes, there's a couple things that happen, and I have just a couple more minutes with you all, so I want to make sure I'm giving you some value here. As I mentioned, when you're trying to communicate yourself as a leader under pressure, specifically, you have to, number one, find out and determine, is this conversation about to go under pressure? How you determine that, pay attention to someone's verbal and nonverbal cues. And if this is someone that is repetitively crossing your boundaries specifically, then you already know that this is going to turn into a challenging situation. Now, what do you specifically say when you have somebody and you're under pressure in those situations and you need to set boundaries? Maybe this person is continually to give you problems with a task, or maybe you've told them that I need to have something modified on my schedule or my calendar or something like that. This is a situation where you want to, and remember that this may be under pressure specifically. What do you say in those situations? First, make sure that you are not reacting emotionally. That's the number one thing I would say. First, you have to figure out, is this conversation going into the contentious direction, I would say. And then how you respond is important. Respond in a very factual, unemotional type of way when you're dealing with somebody that is crossing your boundaries, and this is an under pressure situation. Why? Because most people struggle with communicating under pressure. Therefore, if you can communicate in a very positive way that is not highly emotional, then you will come across as a person that is a leader that can actually handle themselves under pressure. Typically, the people that are crossing your boundaries like that, they are highly emotional people anyways, and they more than likely are not able to control themselves under pressure like you are, especially if you're subscribed to my channel. You're going to absolutely be able to control yourself under pressure. So realize that this is something that is incredibly important for you to do. One, determine in your mind, is this conversation going south? And you have to pay very close attention to what's being said to make that determination. And then next is to make sure that you are at a place where you are not responding in a highly emotional way. Those are the two strategies I would tell you to start with if you are trying to set boundaries under pressure. Now, later this afternoon when I go live, I'll give you some insight in terms of specifically how to say what you need to say when you're under pressure. We're going to focus a bit more on your tone of voice, because your tone of voice when you're in that under pressure type situation and you're trying to set that boundary again determines how this person specifically is going to respond to you. And you absolutely think this is something that you want to be able to master. This is why you subscribe to the channel. So we have James 06G4. Oh, welcome back, James. How are you doing today? James says, what do you think for creating some personal good relationships? Well, I would say a lot of the information I share here, James, is heavily focused on, I'd say, more of your professional relationships, you being a leader, and etc. However, some of the information I share is very applicable to personal relationships too. One of the keys you want to set, and I would say, is your boundaries. That's really important. Know, James, what's important to you in a personal relationship. What are some aspects or some things that are non-negotiable to you? What are things that you have a bit more flexibility on? Thank you for the heart emojis. That's where I really would start, James, as it relates to that specifically. We have Harsh Pathania 6907. Hello. Pratik Glatkar 1011 says, thank you for giving importance to that question. Absolutely, no problem at all, because people sometimes think relationships and business or in professional relationships are different. They are very similar in certain ways. However, there's some guidance that you can give in terms of relationship coaching and etc. That's not my expertise. I will tell you that right now. My expertise is helping you communicate confidently and concisely under pressure, whether you are in my direct target audience I provide services to, which are women in leadership, or you are a man in leadership, or someone that is not a leader just yet, but you're trying to learn more about it. I'm here to support you any way that I can, especially here live on YouTube. So I appreciate you all so much for joining me live today. I will be live a little bit later this evening, and then the rest of the week it'll be I won't be live as much just because it's a holiday here in the States. So I appreciate you all so much, and I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next video. One more video I want to mention to you. Definitely check out my live tab, Think on Your Feet videos. That will help you out quite a bit when you're trying to navigate those high pressure situations, and the videos about eye contact. So take a look at my live tab and you'll take a look at some of those videos as well. All right, I want to say hello to Karen Healy 5158. Hello, hello. And I hope you all have an amazing day. Bye for now.